when you do sell your soul, you are allowed to live forever.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this video actually turned out to be quite long. So I'm separating it into three parts, maybe four, I'm not sure. Right now it's three, but I keep finding things keep coming through my feed and I know that it's things that are important that need to be added. So this might look like it's all over the place, but once you see all three, you'll see that you can't do one part without doing another. And um and it's just things that it's just knowledge. It's That's all it is, knowledge, things that you need to know, be aware of, predictive programming, some of it, and other stuff just you know be the whole thing about being as gentle as a dove and as smart as a serpent. you know I y- y- when you're reading things or when you're learning things, you can't have a closed mind. There's so many people teaching so many things that he says in the end all will be known, but his people perish for lack of knowledge. You either want to know it or you don't, but if you don't know it, it's knowledge that's going to cause you to go to the pit because you didn't want to know it. And he says not to worship another god. And if what we're finding out is true, because I've for years I've always questioned, if this is Satan's world, then why would he allow us to have a book when the Father is clear that he would put it in our heart? And a lot of the things that I know I just know. And a lot of things started to come into my heart when I woke up and was following him. I didn't need to open a book to find him. I was sitting on my couch crying. I wasn't reading a book when he hugged me. You know, he knew I was looking for him. He knew, well, not looking for him. He knew that I was trying to get to know him. So just try to have, I don't even want to say discernment because people don't even know what that is anymore. I just want to just keep your eyes open and ask yourself, why would this be our book if they're the ones that are reading it? If they're the ones that are sacrificing on it, if they're the ones that swear upon it. I mean, just watch the three videos and take them for what they're worth. Info, okay? It's knowledge. And if you want to dig in deeper, I suggest you do, because his people are going to perish for lack of knowledge, and you are not to worship another god. All right, here we go.
How are you? So, do you have any questions?
Mary Andrew.
Hi.
Morning Journal, the local newspaper.
Hi.
Here. What are you hearing from residents? I know you met with some of the residents just now. What are some of the stories you're hearing, and what kind of pause does that give you for how things are being handled?
So, I've spent all morning with some of the residents, and I'm very upset. Obviously, they're very upset. I just could not believe the amount of information coming in that they have, that they want to share, that it seems like nobody is listening to. They are so afraid. They get so many mixed messages. They're getting a total runaround. They want help. They make a phone call. It goes to Norfolk. Then it says call EPA. EPA says call Norfolk. They don't know where to go. They want to leave. They don't have the means to leave. People aren't coming back. Their animals are sick. Their animals are dying. I've just seen pictures of them who go to their own doctor with holes in their throat, or they're being diagnosed with chemical respiratory illness, or these rashes that obviously look painful. Listen, this has been going on for 3 weeks since the initial crash. I think we're pushing a month now, actually, March 3rd. And yet nothing has really been done that is really giving them any kind of help or answer. It's so frustrating. It's classic cover up in an environmental disaster and running the people around in hopes that they don't figure it out or we all go away and nobody's none the wiser, when they are literally going to be the sitting ducks here. They will be the sitting ducks that don't know their future, that are terrified. And the lack of mismanagement here is unbelievable. You have, I mean, everybody's seen the pictures. The pictures I was seeing up close, what was burning, the smells. It was very overwhelming to have such a close perspective today of what they went through. And I'm still absorbing, honestly, their fear and their turmoil. And I've been on a lot of environmental situations, and I've never seen anything in my life be so mismanaged, ever. You give an all clear, but yet you don't have any data, really, to prove that it is all clear. And then when the people come back and they tell you, I'm smelling stuff, we're sick, we're going to the emergency room, I can't breathe, they're just disregarded because everything is safe. It's obvious nothing is safe yet. And then when they come back, they're told, don't drink the water. But then that changed the next day. It's okay to drink the water. So it's safe, it's not. Drink the water, it's not. You're not really experiencing what you are, yet they're sick, yet they're going to the doctor. And every time they try to get answers to the EPA is deferring to Norfolk, the very fox that's in the hen house. So this is what upsets me. And it takes me all the way back to my days in Hinckley, California. We have another environmental disaster, another corporate cover-up. I'm sorry, something is not right here. Agency failures and a really great community of really great people that deserve answers. And not just leave them here sitting and guessing what their future will be. And getting this information takes time. You guys are around town, they're doing all this aeration that could be throwing chemicals into the air. You just had independent testing come out that shows it's in the air. And then EPA Director Regan says yesterday, maybe you should keep the kids away from there. Well, maybe you should have told us that 3 weeks ago because they've already been down here. It's just awful. And I have spent all morning with these people. I am truly upset. I cannot imagine what they've been through. But they all have the same story. They were all within this 1 mile radius and outside of it. They have Norfolk wanting to do tests. And their well water is, all these colors. They're worried. They don't know what it means. And their well water is, all these colors. They're worried. They don't know what it means. And their well water is, all these colors. They're worried. They don't know what it means. What does it mean it smells? What does it mean when I come home I can't breathe? And then the frustration that they just get run around. Every call to every agency leads right back to Norfolk. And I really want to know why they're controlling the narrative. The narrative needs to be this community and what happened to them. They are not stupid. They are not making things up. This is very real to them. And I really hope that everybody will spend time with them and go to their properties, smell it for yourself, experience it for yourself, feel what they're going through. Help answer their questions about the kids going back to school. They want to know, should they go back to school? Should they homeschool them? Can they do virtual school? There are people leaving now. There are people terrified to come back. And they're sick. I can't say it on camera, so I'm just not going to do it. I am sickened.
Knowing your experience from years ago.
30 years ago, that's fine. You can date me, 30 years. It's been a long time.
You're coming here, your experts are here, other experts are here, the state is here telling us what they're doing. We know there are a multitude of federal class action lawsuits being pursued. You with some of that from what we're hearing. How do we know, despite and with respect to all of the experience, that this isn't you trying to convince these folks or whomever that you should be suing Norfolk with us? That this isn't trolling for clients in behalf of whoever you're with?
Sure. That's an actually very fair question, and I understand that. And I think over 30 years, these situations don't happen and you think the lawyers aren't going to show up. Oh, you bet they're going to show up. But at the same time, these people need to know they have legal rights. They could get totally screwed over further by Norfolk. You mentioned class actions. Listen, I'm not the attorney. I've never worked with an attorney that does class because everybody's damages are seen the same. From my experience with Hinckley and every other environmental issue I've worked on, and I consult with firms, I'm not their employee. I'm not making a bunch of money out of this. These attorneys get upset with each other because they might be missing out on some money, but it's not going to affect me. And by the way, all the money in the world doesn't change anything for these people. Nothing. They've already lost everything and their future. You really? So what, you're going to have a lawsuit? Yes, the money helps, and I want people to understand that so they can get out of here, because many of them can't afford to do that. I would understand that people might think that I'm that. I've been called that. But after 30 years, I've really shown myself I'm not here for that reason. I'm here for these people.
I don't ask for help, but I'm going to ask for help. And I'm going to ask for TikTok to do its thing. With regards to the train derailment in Ohio, anyone in North America right now, stay out of the rain. There's reports coming in from Nebraska that it's eating shit, that people's skin in the rain. Stay out of the rain.
Vinyl chloride in the atmosphere breaks down into hydrochloric acid, a component of acid rain.
Since Instagram deleted my last reel for some reason, I don't know why, we'll try this again. Story time. If you don't know, from my other previous reel, I was a medic in the Navy. They sent me to an NBC Casualty Care Provider course in Aberdeen, Maryland, where they spent a bunch of time teaching me how to treat chemical casualties in a nuclear, biological, and chemical attack environment. And one of the first things they taught us about was phosgene. Phosgene, if you don't know, is a byproduct of burning vinyl chloride. So that train derailment in Ohio that released all the vinyl chloride around it, and then they decided to light it on fire, yeah, congratulations. All they ended up doing was creating a shit ton of phosgene. Germans used this stuff in World War I to kill everything. It's invisible. It smells like fresh cut grass when it gets to a certain point in the air.
Where people are starting to see stuff on the cars. Now it's even more videos coming out where people are seeing stuff on the cars, which we're about to show you. So this was the one in Cincinnati, in areas of New York. Guess where else they're starting to see it though? It's not just in those areas. And so if you're in Nebraska, we want to ask the question, what has the rain been like? We're not saying you should be standing in the rain, but this is in Iowa. And over in Iowa, they're trying to say, well, nah, this is what they say right here. The dust came up, probably from the plains with rain events, came up over the past days. It evaporated and landed on people's cars. professor of chemistry says. So that's what they're saying here, but nobody wants to talk about if stuff can come from the Sahara, why can't stuff come from Ohio? So, oh, it's just that double standard here where things can come from all the way over there, but things can't come from here. See how that's placed on us? But let's listen to this chemical engineer first, and then we're going to get into the yellow dust on the vehicles. But the chemical engineer need to be heard because of the controlled so-called burn that wasn't controlled, and we'll get into what we need to do about this phosgene situation. So let's go ahead and give you audio on what this guy was saying here. We'll go ahead and play it.
You were the guy that made all the decisions. Would you have done a controlled burn? Well, there's the lie. It wasn't a controlled burn, it was an uncontrolled burn. See, I'm a chemical engineer as well as a top health and safety guy. I've got undergraduate and graduate degrees in chemical engineering.
You're the first actual expert that we've gotten to speak to. In your opinion, why do you believe that it was an uncontrolled burn? Why are you using that terminology when so far everywhere else we've seen that it was a controlled burn?
You could go to a place called West Liverpool downriver, and that's where they burn hazardous waste. And in a hazardous waste situation, they very carefully control the temperature and the amount of oxygen so that they get complete combustion, right? It's time, temperature, and amount of the air-fuel ratio. There's no controlling of the amount of air that gets in there. That's why you saw all that soot. So it's not a controlled burn, because a controlled burn would have to be like in a furnace or in your car or some system where you control the fuel, in other words, the vinyl chloride and the amount of oxygen. So they didn't do that. So it's an uncontrolled burn. One of the worst ways to determine exposure in general is to smell it, because if you smell the odor, guess what? You're already exposed, right?
How long have you been doing this?
Flesh-eating rain is obviously acid rain hitting you. And then it's turned to phosgene, which was used in World War I as chemical warfare. Here is some of the newspapers about that. It says, devilry. Thy name is Germany. Soldiers trapped by a gas cloud lie unconscious in the trenches. And they're trying to push this whole, oh, don't worry, stuff is coming from other places. There is no Ohio fallout. There is nothing happening. Even in places like Oregon, they have dirty rain and streaks on windows and all this other stuff starting to show up.
People in Cedar Rapids woke up to find this yellow dust on their cars, on their sidewalks, entire properties in this part of southwest Cedar Rapids. Homeowners say this is the first time they've seen this kind of yellow dust, and they've lived near that grain processing plant in Gredion for years. KCRG TV9's Ethan Stein joins us live in the studio to explain the source of that dust.
Well, Beth, that street with the yellow dust, it's right around 3rd Street. It's right around there. In the background, right up here, that's the Ingredion plant. A company spokesperson says glucose was released after an equipment failure.
It looks like artificial snow almost.
Jeff Hawkins woke up to cars along his southwest Cedar Rapids street covered in yellow dust.
Even when the trucks drive down the street, like right now, you can even see it blowing.
He says he's seen the dust before, but it's never been this yellow.
I've seen it not as bad as it is today. The coloration, no. I've seen it discolored before.
And the substance is difficult to clean off. Dave Crowder says he'll likely need a car wash.
It covered the whole car. I mean, having to clean all that off before I can even leave, it's pretty annoying.
Did it bite him? to him like that.
Fight you. Next time, I'm not helping a little shit. Okay? And if either of you gets bitten, I won't waste a second watching out for my own. Got it?
You are such a sweet boy. Cam, can you listen to Mommy for a minute? I love you very much. You can keep that. Cam, can you remind me of what we're supposed to do if we're ever apart? Please tell me, baby, it's important.
I had to keep running and stay away from people that aren't friends.
That's right. Very good. And Cam, honey, Mr. Vince isn't our friend anymore.
He's not one of the monsters.
I know that, sweetie, but he's not very nice, is he?
4, 5, 6.
The building with the lights on it that Mr. Vince wouldn't let us go to, that's a good place to go. Okay, don't forget. Cam, you want to play a game? Put your backpack on.
What's this for?
This is for your invisibility suit. We're gonna play hide and seek. I'm gonna close my eyes and you are gonna find a good hiding place. And you're gonna count to 100.
But that's so many.
Out loud. And then I'm gonna come find you. It'll be fun.
One, 2, no peeking.
I won't. 3, 4, 5.
Eyes closed. 6, 7.
Vince, I need to talk to you. It's about us.
Oh, shit. Look, what happened back there could have been the end. We need to be more careful.
I get it.
He was a little guy anyway.
We're just playing a game.
Right.
It's hide and seek. He's counting to a big number. It'll take a while.
That's great.
I want to...
19, 20.
What?
I know why you put up with him.
Whoa. It's not like that. Okay? I'm fond of him. Really.
Lock the door. There's a key on the side table. Lock the door.
As in... See? Ain't that bad. Maybe some kind of goddamn family or something.
Not like that. Let's just take it slow.
Now that you're into it, you're gonna complain?
29, 30, 31, 32, 33.
You drunk? That's what this is about? God damn, I'm cold.
Not like that, I said.
Okay.
I'm not cold.
No, you're cold as hell. What the fuck? You're infected?
I'm so sorry. I love you.
It's okay, Mommy. Don't be sad. Should I come out now?
We're still playing a game. I don't know where you are. Keep counting.
57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100.
Why did you hide here?
Mommy? Are you sorry I tricked you?
No. No. Baby, don't look. Please go.
It's okay, Mommy.
No. No, I can't. No, I can't.
can't leave you, sweetheart.
And so I was sharing that God was showing me the thing that I called reanimate, because that is the only word that I can use to explain how I know and can see that a person is dead and in a decomposed state and is not supposed to be moving around. It's not supposed to be trying to articulate any sounds. It's not supposed to be experiencing things like hunger and rage or have supernatural abilities to stalk living beings. And yet the reanimate can do all this. You can see that they are dead, and I will describe them in this dream, pulling information from other dreams, and yet you know that they are still living. You can see them moving. They're extremely fast.
Dawn! Help us!
So if you're lucky and they're not coming for you, you can see them running. They're extremely strong, and yet they are dead. And so when something dies and comes back to life, the obvious term that I have used for them always has been reanimated. I could not share this with any of my spiritual leaders or any of the people who have charge over me, because honestly, what was I going to say? Pastor, can I have a word with you? Yesterday, I saw zombies breaking into the church. I kept it to myself because there are no obvious Bible studies for zombies. But this I knew. If the Lord continuously shows me a thing, if the Lord continuously shows you a thing, the Lord is having a conversation. I just shared in another video that God never speaks for nothing. The Father is wasteful in nothing. If you go through any experience in your life, good or bad, God, if you give him an opportunity, will weave it into the greater story of your existence. And so when God is speaking to me, even the smallest thing, even when he is giving me insight into things that I may think, Lord, how can this be? I will not take it lightly, because I know for the greatest one of all to move himself, open his mouth and speak a word, even a sentence to one such as me. I will not play that game that many Christians play, which is, oh, I felt it, but I wasn't sure if it was God. Oh, I heard something, but I just didn't know if it would be. All of that we make excuses about, and we try to say, oh, we weren't sure, that is unbelief. And the reason that a lot of the church is gripped by unbelief is because they have not yet developed the respect and honor for God as Abraham had. When God spoke to Abraham and said, take your son and go and sacrifice him on this mountain, Abraham didn't say, was that me? Was that God? Or was that the devil? Abraham didn't say, get behind me, Satan. Abraham didn't say a thing. Abraham woke up the next morning, had breakfast, gave his son breakfast, said nothing to his wife, took his son, wood for the sacrifice, some servants, and went to the mountain that God told him to sacrifice his son on. And this is the kind of obedience that God is both seeking for in the earth. This is the only type of obedience that God honors. The surrender type. the type that does exactly what it is told. When we have opinions, or we're waiting to feel like it's real, or we're waiting for us to have some buy-in into what God says, this is many, many times that God will simply pass over you and look for someone who is obedient. God will simply pass over you the way he passed over Saul, completely bypassed Saul, and went straight for David, who did exactly what he was told. And so I have very many years ago developed the habit that when God speaks to me about something, even if it makes absolutely no sense to my natural mind, I realize that God doesn't need my buy-in to speak. He does not need my opinion to be right. And this is why I write down everything he says. And with the passage of time, whatever he says comes to be the reality. So I knew that if God was showing me this, there was a reason for it. And therefore, I kept these things, as the Bible said of Mary, in my heart. So since mid-2010, I would see these things. It was while I was transcribing the prophecy, the fig, the seeds, and the vaccines, that the Lord spoke to me as I was writing out that prophecy on the blog. And he gave me a key that I had been wondering about, but not pestering him about, for 10 years. He said to me that the reanime will arise from those who take these vaccines. This was the very first time that I knew where this great mass of transformed, dangerous, foaming, hunting people come from.
Jacob!
And so because I'm very exact when I'm writing, I try to be as clear as possible, because I know that people from all over the world use this blog, people with different levels of the understanding of the English language. And so I speak clearly, and that's why I'm always surprised when people will still come back and ask me things that I just said in a video. When God says that something will come from among something, when we take 2 or 3 apples from among a bunch of apples, we cannot say, I've taken all the apples. So if all the apples are green and we take a few of them and somebody asks, what have you got there? You say, oh, I have these apples that I took from among the apples that are on the table. And so the Lord said to me that reanime comes from among those who take these vaccines, the COVID-19 vaccines. That means that not every person who takes these vaccines is going to change. That tells me that it will be a subset, a part of those from the larger part who will suffer this fate. And so, in some of the dreams, I've seen people get really sick with fever. So in a dream called The Dream of the End of America, the man in it that changed to a reanime, that I actually got to see the process, he changed on the back of a great fever. And I've shared about these fevers just a few days ago in the prophecy entitled Disease and Decay in America, how many people were struggling against what was called pandemic sicknesses. And one of those sicknesses had something that was in the cells of people, and it was sweating out a toxin into them. I also shared about this same sweating toxin in the prophecy entitled The Unclean Frog That Sheds. And so what this sweating would do is it was releasing something and replicating something and multiplying something into the cells of the body. And you greatly needed to stay hydrated to keep the levels of that multiplied thing down at a manageable level. Because if you became too dehydrated, you became extremely feverish. Signs were that you would be very tired. You would not be able to keep up with the demands of daily life. And then eventually you changed in that dream, a dream of the end of America, this man changed in a sudden and violent way. I was in the group that was traveling with him, and we went to sleep in a school bus. But the leader, who had seen that this man was manifesting the signs, the leader woke us up and told us to come out of the bus quietly. And so we left him in there, and we barricaded the bus with sheet metal and cement blocks and very heavy things. And it was a good thing that the leader did that, because in no time that man woke up. And when he woke up, this man was screaming at a decibel that only creatures can reach. So when I say creatures, I am definitely talking about those eerie CGI generated, computer generated screams that you can hear in the horror movies that even has little multiple layers, and they go horrible scream. The scream was too high for a man's vocal cords, and that man was shaking the bus. He was shaking that and rocking that entire bus by himself. And so Reanimate are like beasts. They no longer have the understanding of a human being. They lose the ability to speak. The Lord has shown me in a few dreams that I have not published. I've said that I will not publish everything the Lord shows me or says to me. There's no need for that. I feel that there is enough evidence for people to know if this channel is of the Lord or not. I don't need to exhaust myself in that area. And so they lose the power of speech over time. So they will be like people going through a neurological disease if it happens for them slowly. It did not happen slowly for that man, but I have seen that in some people's cases, it did happen slowly, and it is a heart-wrenching process to watch. They forget how to speak. They forget how to communicate. They forget how to be a part of society. And the most painful part about it is that you can see that they can see. You can see that they know that they are changing, and usually they run away. So if you have a family member that has taken this thing, I am not telling you that this is an absolute, that this will happen to them. But I saw, even in the dream that I will relate, people run away. They will run away because they can feel themselves changing. And the pain of it and the shame of it is so great that they run away. And the next time you see them, it's not them. So they will look just like them. If this is your cousin, if this is your mother, if this is your brother, if this is your husband or your wife, you will look at them and you will know that this is them. They're not going to change that much. They're just not going to be human beings. They're not going to be nice. They're going to be extremely dangerous and extremely savage. They have the strength. One Reanimate has the strength. If people lay hold of him or lay hold of her, they have the ability to simply turn like this and fling people off themselves by the centrifugal force and the strength. Even 20 deputies, hefty deputies, will not be able to keep one teen boy down when he changes. And so when the Lord said that the undead will come from those who take these vaccines, it made sense to me, because whenever I see them in the dreams, they are in overwhelming numbers. Overwhelming means that you can't believe how many they will be across the world. And here in the United States, they will be a huge category. And so in mid-July 2021, before I had this dream, around the latter half of the year, I started to see human teeth in visions. So I would be writing, working on my computer, or putting something together, and I would just see bloody human teeth.
Does it live in a jungle?
No. Oh.
Is it really fast?
No.
Does it live on the Great Plains of Africa?
No. Hey.
What is going on? Hold on, guys.
Daddy, be careful on the road. Jerry?
Get back in your car right now! Remain with your vehicle! Are you okay?
Harry, what is this?
Is this seen worldwide? Is anyone doing better than we are?
We don't know.
I'm scared. How do we know they're coming?
They're coming. Ready? I need you to help him.
You're asking me to leave my family.
I'm not gonna force you. But don't pretend you're not well suited for the job.
Baby.
Tell the kids I'm coming back. Just know, I'm coming back.
And then I'd also see ripped body parts. So usually they go for the soft body parts, the obvious places of softness, thighs and the upper body and the cheek. They're very much with the cheek and the ear and this part of the throat. I started seeing that, and I would see the imprint of human teeth. And it brought me back again to another dream. The name of it I can't remember, but it brought me back to that dream because what happened is that when Reanimate arrives, the government is going to attempt to lie about it. And just like in this dream, they definitely had a strong lying campaign going on. So in the previous dream, what happened is that Reanimate began to show up in the population.
There's already many articles explaining that if a zombie apocalypse were to begin, the likely epicenter of it would be China. However, many people are saying that China being China would have likely covered it up and not let anyone find out. And if you're just hearing about it now, you are too late.
What's your name?
People can have psychotic episodes, screaming at demons only they see, dangers only they feel.
Dude, he's trying to hit him. He's trying to hit him, look.
He's just trying to attack people.
I know.
They can get violent, lashing out at themselves or at strangers, picking fights with parked cars, damaging property.
He's dangerous, though, he is.
He's dangerous, absolutely.
They're often oblivious to the risks they take, climbing barefoot under a high bridge, rolling around, literally rolling around in traffic on a busy street. The drug makes the heartbeat accelerate so high, the internal body temperature sizzles, so stripping seems like the best way to cool off. Who knows what inner impulse then makes somebody want to jump between cars. The U.S. Navy got so concerned about it, this video was made to warn their personnel about the danger.
Freaking out. What's wrong with you?
But what would a smart, pretty, talented young woman know about one of the scariest drugs around?
How quickly addicting is it?
Pretty quickly. Basically, from when I first started, I had to have it every day, even though it was changing my life and my brain. It's like a personalized hell for, for whoever you are, a specified individual hell just for you.
By the time she returned home from her Colorado visit, Hannah was hooked, and it was horrible, starting with paranoia and ramping up to hearing voices and having vivid hallucinations.
I thought I'd been abducted by aliens. Voices told me I had spiders in the back of my throat, and I would see them, and at one point I thought I was turning into a giant spider. I felt that I had bugs in my skin, and I had to get them out. I would get a flashlight and look in the back of my throat and see spiders walking around back there, and they would only bite me, and I would feel them bite me if I would try to remove them. There were visuals I would get that were so grotesque. They're like nothing I could ever even think up, or nothing I've seen in a movie. It felt very demonic, very evil, sinister.
This is not my child anymore, and it just continues to get worse and worse.
Hannah seldom left the house, rarely left her room, rarely ate or slept. Since she vehemently denied being on drugs, her parents sent her to a psychiatrist, afraid that she was bipolar like someone else in the family. In the midst of the mania, Hannah felt compelled to write about what was happening.
When I wrote, I would hear voices threatening me. Don't write that down about us. Don't give us out to anybody. Don't turn us in. We'll have you killed. So writing was my salvation at the time, and I almost became afraid to do that anymore.
As she was writing, something so strange happened. Hannah was suddenly able to write backwards.
When you see it without a mirror, it looks completely illegible.
Yeah, I can't tell at all what you're writing.
Yeah, it
here.
just looks like scribbles, but then if it's in a mirror, all of a sudden you can read it.
It says, "Why would you do that to me? Why?" Do you remember who you were asking that question to?
Yeah, all the voices that were calling me crazy.
Hi, today I'm going to be talking about backwards or mirror image writing and why children do it. So a few children in their music class have been doing this horizontal mirror image writing, and I've had some concerns from parents as to why this is, and so I decided to do some research into why children write backwards. Here's Alice's first writing of her name, where she wrote it in mirror image. She then got another piece of paper at a later stage and wrote her name in the conventional format. With these and other examples in mind, I began my research. As Mariano Sigman, a neuroscientist, explains the phenomenon in his book, The Secret Life of the Mind, How Your Brain Thinks, Feels, Decides. He believes that sometimes learning is losing prior knowledge. He believes that sometimes learning is losing prior knowledge. He believes that sometimes learning is losing prior knowledge. That part of the process of learning implies uprooting a predisposition. Learning to write in our Western alphabet is one of the incidences when some of our prior knowledge must be unlearnt, 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 deconstructed, in order to construct a new understanding.
Hey, cool. This is Cameron, he's our 10-year-old, and he has a unique talent of talking backwards. Alright Cam, I'm just going to throw some phrases at you. How about, I went outside to play on my bike today?
Idiot, kid, jam no ilt ut. Just for snel ja. I went outside to play on my bike today.
Okay, play it forward first so we can hear you how you actually said it.
But prove that he said the sentence backwards though. Idiot, kid, jam no ilt ut. Just for snel ja.
And backwards?
I went outside to play on my bike today.
Okay, I'm going to Canada for my summer holidays.
Zedelo, Ramos, Yamro, Odanak, ut, Nog, Maya.
Okay, play it forwards first.
Zedelo, Ramos, Yamro, Odanak, ut, Nog, Maya. I am going to Canada for my summer holidays.
Cool. Anyone else got a sentence? Neve? No? How about I fell off my bed and landed on my head?
De jam no dit now dana. De jam for left ya. I fell off my bed and landed on my head.
And how does that sound forward?
De jam no dit now dana. De jam for left ya.
And back?
I fell off my bed and landed on my head.
Okay, how about counting from 1 to 20 or 0 to 20?
Dit noot, dit njen, niet niet nervus, niet skes, niet vijf, niet roof, niet red, vlout, nevella, vis, skis, ja, roof, earf, ut, no, oris.
Say it back.
It melt, dit nyan, niet niet ne vis.
Okay, let's just play it back.
Niet 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Well done. Okay, let's think of another one. I'm really enjoying my Easter holidays.
Zedela, Rutsi, Jan, Najojne, Lear, Ja. I really enjoying my Easter holidays.
What about I have to check my chocolate brownies in the oven?
I have to check my chocolate brownies in the oven.
Neva elne sin verb till coach Jan catch ut vaja. I have to check my chocolate brownies in the oven.
Well done, Cameron. I'm going to check chocolate.
All right, guys, we'll hear more from Cameron later. Sarah.
Bye.
Okay, before we do go, maybe one last one that you have to do. Neve, what do you want to say?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Så sjut alive skeket selle jaffe lakrepus. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Hey, well done, pal. Well done.
My name is David Ballard. Imaman David Dralab.
I'll just say I'm a freshman at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I'm a namhasurf ta ehata edis revenue fahateran anil orak tala pahakaleha.
I've always known since I was able to spell that I could speak backwards. I just didn't know that other people couldn't.
I realized that I could speak backwards sophomore year of high school.
I guess I found out that it was weird when I was in 2nd grade. Yeah.
I was riding the bus to school one day and my friend was talking to me and I realized that I could visualize each word that she was saying backwards in my head.
It's useless. It's completely useless, except at parties.
My family always thought it was really weird.
I think there's a board game where you're asked to spell something backwards. It helps in that. I don't remember which board game that is, but I've had to do that before.
Aitanak tiewa roth ehata remas rehetau.
And retain. I Yulera Kilsid et Niar Tenantalok Tena once.
Imut. I tenod a Kyle ehata wones.
Oh. Semitamas I kill at once. Nehu Inak Drab once. Ro Dels.
I Kyle te tatisruf. Tub one my kisbate. Stid das erehita tun tahata dug sehita rai.
I completely didn't get that one.
I love you, Lana. I love you, Lana. I love you, Lana. I love you, Lana.
God bless you. Ah, dang it. God bless you. Celebrate. God bless you. Celebrate. God bless you. Celebrate.
God bless you. It's great to have you with us today. And if you're ever in our area, please stop by. God is still on the throne. He has you in the palm of His hand. At the right time, you're going to see Him show out in your life in such a way that you don't think about what you've lost. Rawush Mahis. Rawush Mahis. Rawush Mahis. At one point, the place that he leased space from closed the parking lot to build a big parking garage. Now his customers had to park off-site and take a shuttle. Service sucks. Service sucks. Service sucks. It was breaking their hearts. They would come down for prayer week after week, and they couldn't understand it. They had done the right thing, and now the wrong thing happened. The truth is, God still had His hands on you. When you weren't making good decisions, when you were running with the wrong crowd, like this couple, you may have relationships that are strained, family members that won't have anything to do with you. You think it's always going to be that way. You're about to write them off. No, keep loving them. John Mark was down on himself. When he heard how great Paul was doing, how he was impacting cities, it was like pouring salt on the wound. See this misery. See this misery. See this misery. But he couldn't really say, I have finished my course, without saying, go get John Mark. He was saying, I'm not going to die holding this against him, letting him think that I'm disappointed in him. I repent of my sins. Come into my heart. I make you my Lord and Savior.
If you've been impacted by our ministry, let us know in the comments below. Share this page with a friend.
In this industry, what you must understand is, when you do sell your soul, you are allowed to live forever. And these people that are called youngins, rookies, new booties, like I was, had no idea that these people still live. They will prey, haunt, kidnap, anything to stay on top. This is their world. They have nothing but time, is what they believe.
Now, who are we talking about?
We're talking about everyone that's supposed to be dead. Like there is
in the industry.
In the industry.
Okay.
When you walk around with the fake face and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna open up. It's like this is not. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that since World War I, we've been taught by the Indians and all this other shit how to take skin people and wear their faces to infiltrate the families and this, that, and the other. This is something that has been going on since World War I and before that. So now we've conquered the art of exchanging spirits, trading spirits. So it's supposed to be hard to identify. But when it comes down to it, this world of Hollywood, this wicked world is what they call it. Some people call it Hollyweird. You could literally go to Hollywood and if you open your eyes, it will manifest to you. They'll be right there in front of you.
The people who are trading
the people who are on the walls, the people who are idolized, are laying in their vomit on Hollywood Boulevard, and you have to open your eyes. It's done right in front of us. See, and if you're willing to sell your soul, then you'll be right there too.
Is this the Illuminati?
Well, it's not my family. It's not my family. Well, I can't blame that on me and my family, but I can't blame it on others. I could blame it on those that caused the harm on themselves by coming to the Illuminati and trying to sacrifice themselves in order to get ahead. Can't blame those people.
I mean, there's a lot of talk about it, you know, on YouTube. You know, we call it the wormhole of YouTube. But to hear you as a child star come out and say that this exists, you know, these people are doing whatever they got to do to stay alive and to ensure that their throne
It's kept.
is kept.
Oh, that's not none of my business. I warn how I warn. When you know you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
And they're not finna turn me into no horse.
They not about to turn him into no damn horse. I am done. I am done.
So yeah, I'm good on all that.
Well,
but,
let's talk about Raven.
Of course, no problem.
You've been very, very, you've always said what you wanted to say about her.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it came across as pain and not necessarily as a diss to her.
But no, it's I'ma be silent because I know something that he not supposed to know. He don't know this, so I'm gonna stay. This is what Raven's thing. I know something that he don't know, so I'm gonna stay silent.
So you saying that's why Raven hasn't said anything.
And so she thinks that I'm gonna be, I don't know, whatever. But it's like, I don't know. But right now in my life where I'm at with that, it's just like, yo, I love this shit out of her and she's silent. It's weird.
And you guys were really close.
No, it's just fucking weird, dude. It's weird. The shit that's in my DM, like, yo, what the fuck is she on? What planet is she on? What is she doing? Like, yo, you know she's going to a shrink, right?
Yeah.
Yo, like, yo, what's up? Yo, who's the chick she with? Yo, the chick she with look like Elvis, and what the fuck? Like, yo, it's like, like, yo.
I'm not gonna do this with you today, Orlando.
Like, yo, I'm just saying, yo, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
okay.
yo, I'm just saying, yo, like, what the fuck? Like, it's the shit that's in my DM, and I'm a realist. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. That shit weird. We all bugging like, yo, where the fuck is Raven? This tall, green-eyed character, that's supposed to be Raven, the green-eyed girl? The green-eyed Raven is
Orlando,
Raven?
I'm not about to do this.
I'm saying the green-eyed Raven is Raven? Is Raven had green, or was it? Because the Raven, I know her eyes is brown. I don't know about this green-eyed bitch that's running around here talking about some, I don't know Orlando. I don't know that person. What I do know is that Raven was a little bit like short, stubby, you know, thick, you know, cute, you know, hey, with brown eyes, you know. That's what Raven was. I don't know this green-eyed girl. I think that's Janet Jackson.
Is that sound picking up on the, Could you go talk to that guy? He outside with that Honda. Oh, he leaving. He leaving. He need to change that Honda. But go ahead.
I thought you was farting. But no,
I'll let you know.
But no, but it's just that alone. It's just, you know, like, don't be silent and shit. That shit weird. Don't do that now. Don't be silent.
What if she's not trying to make
It's been too long. It's been too long. Come on, baby. It's been too long. That's just 1,000. It's been too long. Okay. You can't do that. That's not cool. That's not cool. It don't make no sense. We all looking like, yo, for real. What the fuck did Orlando do to you that's that goddamn bad? That you just cannot. You just won't. Like, is that serious? All right, cool. All right, it's that serious. We all watching now because you look fucking crazy. That's what it is. It's like, yo, you look fucking nuts. Everybody else is fucking with Orlando, but she not fucking with Orlando. All right, that's cool. That's her. She grown, whatever. But it just look weird. That's all I'm saying.
When's the last time you guys did talk?
We talking right now, Raven.
When's the last time you and Raven did talk?
I'm tired of bullshit. You understand me? I'm tired of it. No. The only thing about it is like this. Like, you know, we talk and it's like I said, it's roundabout. Not supposed to know it's her. Not supposed to know it's this. Not supposed to know it's that. It's fucking awkward. It's weird. Let's get over it.
So like someone else DMing you?
No, it's like the spirit changed things. So I'm telling you, it's like she's sitting right here, and I can't say that it's Raven because you don't look like Raven. Or she's sitting over there, and then oh my gosh, it's Raven. But how do you explain that? Is he nuts? Is he nuts? But it's really Raven sitting over there. You understand what I'm saying? It's like that's the position they put you in, to look stupid. They put you in a position to look dumb, and it's like, yo, how do you? And then where is she? Nowhere to be found. It's like, yo, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But when is the last time you guys had physical contact?
Raven is sitting right there.
No, that's Jasmine.
No, that's Raven. That's Raven.
That's
That's Raven.
That's Jasmine.
No, that's Raven.
Well, what makes you think this is Raven?
That's Raven.
Everything that happened in that world, I was in control of it.
A little girl's made-up world, one where everything was perfect.
It was always about me. People loving on me, people taking good care of me.
For Victoria Baptiste, it was to escape a world where her parents were often drunk or high, and at times violent, especially her father, who used the Bible to justify his harsh brand of punishment.
A few times of him slamming me on the ground and choking me. If thine arm offends me, cut it off. Like he was saying that I'll just cut you off and leave you behind.
Then there was the verbal abuse, the constant reminders of how she was never good enough.
I hated myself, kind of felt like maybe something was wrong with me.
When Victoria was 5, other voices entered her life, voices only she could hear.
They started to tell me that I'm special and I'm not like other people and I can never be accepted.
In the coming years, Victoria began exploring the supernatural, a search that led her to the study and practice of witchcraft. All the while, there were the voices, encouraging her, leading the way.
I felt like they understood me. The witchcraft became more to me than just play, because I knew that stuff was real. Deeper and deeper I would go into it. Like I would astral projection, that's where you project your soul out of your body and you travel in the spirit realm. That's where I felt like I had power.
Even then, it didn't give her the power to escape the ongoing chaos at home. So when she was a teenager, she set witchcraft aside for another form of escape, opioids.
It was like it altered something in me, like I was happy. Like the pain, the heaviness, the emotions that I felt when I woke up every day as a kid, I didn't feel them anymore. This is something that helped me cope with what was really going on the inside of my head.
Victoria came to depend on those drugs throughout high school. For a while, they were enough. Until one night, after a heated argument with her mom, a 17-year-old Victoria heard a familiar voice.
If you just give your life to the devil, then everything will be okay. And I was just like, okay.
The next thing Victoria knew, she had her hands around her mother's neck.
I almost choked my mom to death that night. Couldn't tell you why I stopped choking my mom, I just know I did.
Something had changed in Victoria. As her life began to spiral further, she had several miscarriages, bounced from place to place, and the voices that once offered comfort now tormented her constantly.
They just became aggressive. They would torment me in the middle of the night. I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't see anything. It was like I was being choked to death. And my heart at that time was just, it was just broken. There was nothing but death on the inside of me.
The only bright spot in that time was when Victoria, now 18, received a Bible from a family friend. She agreed to read it every day. However, it wasn't until a year later that the truth of God's word began to sink in. She was crashing in the hotel where her dad was staying and couldn't sleep.
My dad wakes up and he's like, what's wrong? All these thoughts swirling through my head, of the Bible. And I was like, I gotta do something different, man. I don't wanna be like this. And I don't want my kid growing up in this. The last words that my dad told me before he kicked me out of the hotel room was, Jesus can't save nobody. And I was at a point in my life where I just didn't believe that no more.
On the streets with nowhere to go, Victoria again heard a voice, a different voice that said, go to the church.
My shoes broke. I literally just broke down in tears. And I was just like, devil, giving up is not an option. I'm not doing this anymore. In that moment, I felt like that's when I destroyed my contract with him.
When she reached the church doorsteps, Victoria fell to her knees and cried. Several church members arriving for the service asked if she was okay.
I said, no, I'm 19 years old. I'm 3.5 months pregnant. I don't have nowhere to go. This lady walks up to me and she goes, honey, do you need me to take you somewhere? And in that moment, that's when I started to recognize that that was God's voice. And I surrendered. That was it. Like, I was, okay, God, this is it. You want me to serve you? You want me to give my life to you? Here I am.
Those that stopped helped Victoria into the church, where she gave her life to Christ. Her opioid addiction, the demonic influences and lies she believed about God and herself began to shatter.
I started to realize that he was a loving God and he was a father and he was there all along. I'm ready to do whatever you want me to do, because what I did before was not working.
The church sent her to a women's shelter before she eventually landed at a retreat in Texas for victims of domestic abuse. There, her faith grew and she gave birth to her healthy son, Nehemiah. She's now studying social work and living a full life with Christ at the center.
I don't have to escape anything. When I have an issue, I run to God and I say, Lord, what do we need to do? I am saved, I am healed, I didn't care about nothing else but what the Lord wanted to do. It changed my life forever.
The hour is come that the Son of Man should be glorified.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
Love one another as I have loved you. This is my body, which is given for you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.